devising your philosophy, Shelley, you mentioned the fact that you were interested in how ECA had structured the Code of Ethics. So your philosophy isn't like some philosophies that I've seen. It's a much more detailed document. So can you tell us a bit more about that and why you went for such a longer document?
The original document that we had previous to this one was a small paragraph that had some, information in it. And then we had, I think we were calling it vision statements that behind this document that you could then read. But we found over the years these behind documents sort of got lost along the way. And so our philosophy was this one small paragraph that didn't contain a lot of information or facts or personality. So we thought, let's include everything we want to include on it. Let's not have a word limit or a paragraph limit. Let's find the information that we want to have included in it, which took a bit of time. And then it ended up being quite lengthy and we didn't want to cut anything out. So we wanted to make sure that it was clear, it was concise, and it included everything, and that ended up being not concise. It's actually lengthy, but it says what we want it to say. And so then we had broken it down into the headings, 5 main headings. So there's families and children, environments, educators and programs. So there's 5 main headings, and under that they're all broken down. Yes,
so a lot of people would see the philosophy as needing to be a brief document, but for you see that document as, because it's longer, because it has the detail, as really more useful for your guiding your practice and the work you do with families and children.
Yes. I think that's correct, yes.
And also for staff as well, because when we had the staff meetings and we were discussing the different areas, the staff were really quite passionate about some of the different points that were brought up and some of the wording of those points. And it was really exciting for the staff to really come to grips with what some of their beliefs were and have that actually on paper and some of their words on paper.
To capture their values and beliefs.
Yeah, that's right.
Shelley, has the philosophy been adopted formally yet by the Committee of Management?
Not at this stage. It's getting close, it's a lot closer, and we're really proud of what there is so far, but I think there's a few discussions that need to be had with the staff to finalise a few points. So can you tell us about any of those discussion points that are still being decided? There's one big discussion point about including an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander comment. We really are still mixed on our commitment to having that included in our philosophy. We have mixed opinions and views on the staff, and we want to make sure what we suggest or promise in our philosophy is what we're really going to be portraying in our environments. We don't want it to be tokenistic, but we still see it as quite valuable. So what would be some of the different opinions about including that statement or not including that statement? Well, I think what the team is getting at is we want to make sure that if we promise to do something, we can do it properly and we can do it respectfully. Right. So if we're going to say, yes, we're going to include it in our philosophy, we want to be doing it in the positive and acceptable. The philosophy does have a commitment and a statement in relation to cultural diversity and respect. And so...
And some people within the staff body think that if we're respecting and acknowledging of different cultures within our community, that will cover the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities as well. And other people think that there needs to be a specific comment about the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities. So it's creating some really great debate, and I think that it's really good to have that debate.
Yes.
And but as Shelley said, we don't want it to be tokenistic. We do want it to be meaningful.
Meaningful.
In the next few weeks, we're going to attend an in-service, and there will be an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander person there, and she will be talking to us about how to include meaningful Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander culture in programs.
Excellent.
So I think that will be really exciting at this point, given that we're having this debate. It will be very exciting to hear what she has to say.
I think your discussion on such an important matter is exactly what revising the service philosophy is about. It is about having that lively culture of professional inquiry that tackles some of the big issues that are important for our work with children and families. That might be a good time for us now too to have a look at another video clip which shows us yet another commitment that is evident in the East Brunswick service philosophy, which relates to commitments to their environment. So Jane, perhaps you could link that video clip to some of the statements in the philosophy in relation to environment.
Okay, there's two statements here that I think are particularly useful. The first one is that East Brunswick Kindergarten and Childcare will take pride in creating an environment that is aesthetically pleasing. And the second one is encourage the promotion and use of natural and recycled materials throughout the educational program.
Yes, and we could definitely see those commitments in action, which is exactly what a service philosophy is meant to be. It is meant to guide our practice. It should be enacted every day. Thank you, Shelley and Jane, and thank you to the children, the other educators and the families for sharing the process of revising your service philosophy with us today. Talking with you and watching the video clips has helped me to understand that it takes time to do this, it takes leadership, and it takes a commitment from everyone, from the educators, from the committee, from the families and the children. So we wish you well in the final revising and adoption of your philosophy.
Thank you.